Hello, good morning again. I just talked about forgiving yourself, and I thought I'd talk a little bit more about it because it's different. It's a different twist on our thoughts about what forgiveness is. And I said, if you want to be free of something, then you forgive yourself. And so that sounds like you've been blamed because when we think people have to say, I'm sorry, is because they did something wrong and they are to blame for something. But taking responsibility for your part in it, if we can just get the word blame out of this and just think about it in terms of responsibility and mature responsibility. You say you're wrong. You say I'm holding on to this. You ask yourself, why am I holding on to this? That helps you to let it go. I know it's important that if I offer something like that, I tell you how, because I am talking about how to love. That is my thing, to hold something in such high regard that you make the necessary sacrifice to stay connected to that something. And in this case, the something or the someone is you. How do you become integrated? How do you become whole? How do you stay connected to who you are and God in you? You do that by acknowledging when you have messed up. And while you are not to blame because somebody, let's say, raped you or somebody stole your money and you went bankrupt, that wasn't something you did. But what you do carry is the pain of that. And that's the forgiveness that I'm suggesting. Not that you did something, so don't hear that. Even though a lot of times we do blame ourselves when we when something happens to you say, what did I do? I must have done something because why is this happening to me? And sometimes you didn't do something. You was in the wrong place at the wrong time, or you were you did. Sometimes you do make bad choices. So even with that, So even with that, you acknowledge that. And again, there's no punishment here. I said last time, and I think people are not used to hearing people say this, and maybe someone has said before, but I thought of it on my own this time. And that is, God is the only one that has the power to forgive anybody. God is the only personality that has that is flawless, that is perfect. So that person, that personality, God can forgive you because God is in a position to forgive you. But people, your mama, your school teacher, the bully from when you were in the second grade, the bully that's at work right now, the boss who's, I like the word stupid, the boss who is not a very good leader, those individuals, they have to reckon with themselves. But your responsibility is to acknowledge, okay, this hurt. They did this. I lost some things. I lost maybe myself, whatever it is. But all I have to do is forgive myself for the pain that I'm hanging on to, what they did, the fingers that I'm pointing. But if you hadn't done this, then I would blah, blah. Yes, but they did. And their responsibility is to do the same thing. I need to forgive myself for the wrong I did. This reminds me so much of Blacks in America, Africans of the who came here in chains, and we're always at wanting apologies. Y'all can be mad at me, but I don't really care because we can't make people love us. We can't make people do right. We cannot. And when we hang on to it, we're making our lives more miserable. Waking up Black is hard. And this is not really off the subject, but it is an example. Walking up the door Black is hard. That's just the way it is. But we cannot allow that to enslave us, or else we will never be free. And so to actually be free of something, you free yourself. You forgive yourself. You let go. You allow yourself to let go of whatever that thing is that's hanging on to you so that you can actually be free. That's how, and I just said, our ancestors were able to do what they did because they knew they were human, and they knew they had the ability to deal with what was happening with them, but always keep their eye on the plow. They knew how to do that. So, and maybe the unfortunate thing is they didn't teach us how to do that, because maybe we will find some other ways to deal with what happens to us other than doing the same thing that the master did to each other, to ourselves, because that's their thing to forgive. That's God. And that's, let me just say this last thing about God. It is a non-issue about whether God is forgiving you. Non-issue. You don't even have to, really, you don't even have to ask. God knows who you are, knows who we are, know our frailties, and loves us anyway, forgives us anyway. It is this human thing we're doing. It is what we do to ourselves, period. What they do to themselves, what they think they're doing to us. You know, Whoopi, you already, what you try to do to me, you already done to you. That's it. So forgiveness is something you do for you, not forgiving them, but forgiving you, because you don't have the power to forgive them. Hear that? You don't. You're not God. That's what God does. What we do is forgive ourselves. And when we do that, we free ourselves of whatever it is that's got us bound. I hope that clears some things up. And if it didn't, then, comment and we can have a conversation about it. But if it resonates, hang on to it. If it doesn't, let it go. I do. Till next time. It's been Dr. Deborah. Forgive yourself.